Hi, fourth grade. Welcome back to day 3 of handwriting. You should already have your notebook and your pencils ready to go. Also, did you remember to click your screen and resize it so that it fits your entire screen? We have no distractions and we're ready to learn. Good job. Okay, let's turn to page 7 in your notebook. Today, we're going to recognize how to learn and check ourselves. We are going to be learning letters and words, and we're going to be writing sentences and pretty soon paragraphs. And while we're refreshing letters, we're still going to see these boxes that remind us to check ourselves. And you're in fourth grade now, and it's so great when you can recognize the things you need to work on. Outside of writing practice, you're going to be writing and you're going to automatically start checking yourself, identifying where you're starting your letters and the placement, the size, and very importantly, the spacing of your letters, and then, of course, the spaces in between words as you're writing. All right, so this is just a reminder page, and we're just going to go through it real quick. It is always important to start correctly. And the dot is here to help us along our way as we're refreshing how to write in cursive or lowercase letters. It's also important to do every step. Just like Mrs. Rooney said, don't go ahead of me, because it's important that we go through every single step together as we're creating these letters. We're learning about them. And then, of course, the bump. The bump is contained between the double lines. And there is a reason for that. It's so that we can recognize the letter and it's easy to read. And the bump has to be a certain confined between the certain double line. All right. And the correct size. So tall letters, they go above in the top space, don't they? The free space up here, the space above, and then it's contained in the space in the middle. Small letters are contained within the double lines, space in the middle. And then, of course, descending letters, they go where? They drop down and the G loops around. All right, so the correct size of the letter is very important. And those double lines are there for a reason. It helps us contain our letters. All right, then we connect letters correctly. So when we connect letters, we have a certain space in between our letters. And that is why we allow our pencil to trace on the line a little bit longer as we're getting ready to connect our letters. And there's just the right space. These arrows are pointing to that perfect space so that when we create a word like Hague, we can read it comfortably and carefully. All right. Next, we're checking our sentences. And this is a proper name, Tad, but we also know that when we start the first letter of any sentence, if it's not a proper name, with a capital letter. And so we start with a capital in Tad, and these letters are spaced correctly. Then we have a comfortable space in between so that they don't run on to one another, and we can read it easily. And then we have the next word, which is had, and they're connected comfortably with these nice spaces in between, and then the space between the words. And then we have just the simple letter A that's contained within the double lines nicely. Then it has a nice space. And then, of course, lastly, the word cat. And then once we're done with cat, writing cat, then we cross our T. And what's important at the end? Punctuation. And sometimes we get overcorrected by our teachers, haven't we? That punctuation is so important. And it is, because when you read a book, if there wasn't punctuation, we would never stop. We would never take a breath. We would never have any feeling at the end of a sentence, like asking a question or wow at the end of a sentence using expression, or pausing with a comma, and then, of course, resting just briefly by the period. Okay, so that just gives you an overview of learning and checking. That's something that we're going to be doing in the future. And we're going to be looking for these boxes and we're going to be double checking our work. Okay, now let's turn back to page 5. And we're going to get ready for our warm-up. Before we do our warm-up, everybody stand up. We're going to be doing a few exercises to wake ourselves up. Let's start by rolling our shoulders today. Roll your shoulders. Roll, then go the other way. Roll your shoulders. Loosen up those arms. Good job. Shrug up. Try and touch your shoulders to your ears. Then take a deep breath down. Just let it go. Take a deep breath in. Blow it out. Sprinkler noise. Breathe in. Sprinkler. Tells us that we did take a deep breath. It's really important. All right, push your hands together. Bring all that tension to the center. Push, push, push. And then release. Pull. Pull your hands away. Remember to be breathing. Switch. Pull. And switch. Good job. Roll your shoulders one more time. Then the other direction. Good job. Shake it off. Shake, 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 shake. All right. Here we go. Remember your posture. You're sitting down. Your back is straight and your arms are comfortably rested. Your notebook, your cursive warm-up, should be slightly slanted and you should be on the 3rd line. Right. It's the 3rd day. Okay. We are going to practice these formations that we're going to be making in cursive writing. We're going to start with under and over. Really going to try and stay on that baseline, under and over. All right, stay with me. Remember to breathe. Sometimes I work on a project and I forget to breathe and I'm holding my breath. So remember that you're comfortable because your finger and your pencil are going to flow much easier when you're not gripping tightly, you're not tensed up, very comfortable. Good job. Take a few breaths if you need. Here we go. Good. Okay, now we're going to go up and straight down. We're going to travel on the line a little bit, remember, because when we travel on the line, that means it's a connecting letter. Good. Start at the star, up, and then we're going to come straight down. Good. Does this get a little bit easier as we practice? I think it does. All right, now we're going to go up and loop down. Star, we're going to go up and loop down. We're always going to leave that little bit of a traveling line connecting. We'll go up and loop down. Good job. All right, just because we've done this, we're still practicing. We're not racing, we're staying together. Descending loop. Descending means go down. We're going to descend below the baseline, starting up, star, descending down in between the 2 dots, and back up to the baseline, then stop. Start at star, go down, drop below the baseline, between the dots. Good job. All right, you know what to do. We're going to self-check. There's no box, but we've been checking ourselves on our cursive warm-up. I'm going to go with a descending loop today. I'm going to circle this one. It looks pretty good. That's my favorite. All right, let's drop down. And some of you might be able to have room to do a third name. If you're leaving about this much space in between, if you have a very long name, you can start here at the bottom. But I'm going to start over here at the top. Remember that Mrs. Rooney's page goes away at the end of the lesson. So I'm going to start with a new name, capital N, which is a connecting letter. So I'm going to let it travel on the line when I'm finished. Connects to the lowercase I, which connects to the C, magic C. Up, down, connects to an O, connects to the L. And we always travel on the line just slightly, even if we're not going to have a letter behind. It's just the way the letters form. It's their correct formation. Then, of course, can't forget to dot my I. All right, everyone, how did it go? Can you honestly see a difference between the first time you wrote your name and then the third time? I bet you can. Just practicing 3 times makes a big difference. Just think of what it's going to look like at the end of this booklet. It's going to look great. Okay, so today we just talked about a little bit about checking ourselves and what that's going to look like throughout the notebook. So you know when you see one of those boxes, that's what it means. And then also we practice just paying attention to our posture, our pencil grip, the way we slightly adjust our page for the natural formation of our arm, and we're ready to go. Keep breathing. You're doing great. See you tomorrow.